We open on the night sky, as we see 3 other apostles sitting around a big campfire in the woods outside of an open cave. We see Bishop sitting there as he says to all his men,
"Well, here we stand, my lord. You gave us a victory the other day, and we thank you for allowing us the chance, and we will certainly embrace our victory. This world doesn't have many victories anymore, but the other night, we made apostle history. You know, I always think about before all this havoc. I think about time, money, laws, 9-to-5s. These are all things the world made up back when we were civilized. But God had other plans. He wanted things to be more simple. No stress about work or money or bills or anything like that. But now, humanity is being restored. Things are going back to how it once was. There's no limit on what people can do anymore. It's a broken world with very little hope. But humans evolved. So can the world. And the humans that have been chosen to continue on this planet is still here because they have a purpose to fill. At my worst, I was sure I would find that white light into the other side. And for a second I did. But I believe that every person sitting around here right now is here because they all have a purpose. Like the apostles once said, the bishops are the successors of the apostles, and that an unbroken line of successions connects the apostles to all legitimate bishops, a doctrine known as apostle succession. And I'm here to promise you all that we will carry that legacy, that we will carry it for generations into this world gone mad.
as we see all the apostles take off their masks and pray together, as we see Bishop looks at them and smiles. We see an open cave. Bishop walks into the cave. As he walks past several apostles, we see him go far underground as it leads to a door guarded by an apostle. He goes inside, where he walks down more stairs as it leads him to an underground community. We see people working. We see there's electricity, people feeding plants, a cafeteria, a wall full of apostle masks hanging, and as we also see a wall of pictures of people, and it says at the top, "Apostles we remember," showing their fallen people. As Bishop walks through, we see everyone looks happy to see him, as we see Bishop has made it home. We see Bishop walks down some stairs. As he walks through, several apostles standing guards. We see him walk into a very nice room. As an apostle walks up to him, and Bishop says,
"Everyone clear the room. I need to talk to my assistant for a minute."
Everyone leaves, and we see Bishop says,
"Apostle Cheryl, did I miss anything interesting while I was away?"
Cheryl says, "No sir, been mostly quiet." "Who's the new prisoner?" Bishop says,
He's a part of that group that almost killed me all those years ago. I took off the head of the snake. The main source has been removed. Now it's time to get some information.
Cheryl says, "Oh, sounds exciting." Bishop says,
"Well, thank you for holding things down here."
Cheryl starts walking away and says, "Anytime. Oh, and James said he wanted to see you about something later, just whenever you get the chance." Bishop says,
"All right."
As we see Bishop make himself at home. Back in Washington, D.C., we see Dave in front as he, Tom, with Snoop, and Rivers, Miles, and Roger look out to the city. Dave says, "All right, it's getting dark soon. We should find somewhere to hold up for the night. Let Roger rest, then tomorrow we finish the mission." Tom says, "Well, okay. Well, let's not let our tits sit in ice cold air for too long. Let's get a move on here." They all get in the truck and drive over the bridge into the post-apocalyptic city. We see them driving through these dark streets as we see how trashed this place is. We see them driving through. We then see Rivers looking at all the burned out buildings and the dead, almost skeletons now, and burned corpses. Rivers says, "What exactly went down here anyway?" Tom says, "There's some things people do for the ones they love. Lincoln was the one that made the call to do this. And because of that, we're still here. It may not look like it, but it was worth it." Miles says, "Still feels weird being back here again." Dave says, "It's not forever. We'll be in and we'll be out within a day." They pull into the alleyway. As they park the truck, they all get out, and Rivers sees a building in decent condition and says, "We'll go here. I don't think this one's been burned." Dave says, "Nice job. All right, we'll go to the..." They then hear the sound of several deadheads down the street, and Tom says, "Sounds like a shitload." Miles says, "Let's get inside." As they all run in and lock the doors, Dave looks at them all and says, "This'll have to do for the night." Back at the Apostle Nest, we see Ashley sitting in her room crying. We see her looking at herself in the mirror as she says, "I should have known. I should have known. Fuck, I should have known. How the fuck didn't I know?" And as she looks at herself in the mirror, we see flashbacks of her through the mirror, of her begging Bishop not to kill Lincoln. As we see the smile on his face, we see Ashley crying that night and looking angry. And now, as she looks at herself and says, "The snake will always bite back." As we cut to the snake, Bishop sitting in his room. As we see he's got a nice setup down there. We see he's pouring himself a glass of brandy as he sits down. The second he has a second alone, we see him sitting there remembering something that he did in the past. Bishop says, "This is what victory feels like. What a fucking joke." Back in Washington, D.C., we see Rivers is on first watch. We see she's smoking a cigarette, and Tom walks up to her and says, "Hey." Rivers says, "Weren't you supposed to be out here 3 hours ago?" Tom says, sorry. I haven't been sleeping much lately. River says, why not? Tom says, just ever since these apostles have come into play, things have been different. I feel like we're all about to be those people we were last time we were here, before this place got burnt. Rivers looks upset and says, none of this is your fault. I dragged everybody into this. I asked Sydney for help back there. Sometimes I wonder if maybe I should have just kept going. Maybe you guys wouldn't have been in danger. Tom says, hey, don't think like that. You have helped us more than ever. And Lincoln's a good man. He put his faith in you that day. And look at you now. I'd say you made the right call. River says, thanks. Although, you don't know all the stories. About the apostles. What my dad did. Fuck, what I did. Tom looks at her and says, you should get some sleep. River says, no, I can't sleep now. Not in this burnt piece of shit, at least. And Tom asks, how many smokes do you got? River says, 7. Tom says, that's good enough. Do you want to tell me what happened? River says, okay. Well, here it is. We then see James punching Luke in the face over and over again, and Luke says, I didn't do anything. James says, oh, you didn't now? Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're not the one with the burned face here, are you? So how about you count your fucking blessings? He then hits him again, and then we see Bishop come in from out of the shadows, and he says,
I knew I'd find you like this.
James says, welcome home, sir. Bishop says,
clear the room. Me and our guest here are gonna have a lot of catching up to do.
James says, of course. As James and the others all walk out of the room, Bishop then pulls up a chair. Luke looks terrified and says,
You here to finally kill me?
Bishop laughs and says,
No. No, that's not up to me. You see, your life is in Mrs. West's hands now. Her actions will be very crucial on your future.
Bishop says,
now I know you recognize me. And you've heard a part of my story. Although I think it's time you hear the full thing. So I hope you're ready to listen. Because my story's only getting started.